All right. So I want you to be honest with me. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and you're trying to hold them accountable? And as you're trying to hold them accountable, they are responding back to you with excuses. Like the more you try to get them to admit that they made a mistake, to admit that what they thought or what they said was wrong, that their actions were not appropriate, they're giving you all sorts of excuses, right? I mean, they're telling you that, their boyfriend broke up with them. Why? Because the boyfriend is nuts. They're telling you they were not promoted because their coworkers are jealous of them. I mean, everything about how the dog ate their homework. That's why they couldn't turn it in. And you're looking at them and you're saying, come on now. Why won't you just admit it? Why won't you just acknowledge what we all know to be true? And it's frustrating, isn't it? You're thinking, listen, you need to get a grip. Come on, man. Listen, this is not right. Just admit. We can't move forward if you won't admit or acknowledge. And as frustrated as you and I may get with other people, do we get frustrated with ourselves the same way? I mean, do you get frustrated with yourself when you don't acknowledge your mistakes? Why is it that sometimes we don't acknowledge our mistakes? Well, Adria Benton here, the author of A Greater Force Than Failure, and we are going through our series, 7 Ways to Learn from Our Mistakes, which comes from chapter 2 of the journal. And in chapter 2, it gives us 7 ways. And the first way to learn from our mistakes is to acknowledge the mistake. So again, I asked the question, why is it that it's so hard sometimes for us to acknowledge when we're wrong? Well, part of the reason is because as human beings, we're ego-driven, right? We don't want to admit that we didn't do it right, that we somehow missed the mark. There's something inside us that says, no, you're perfect. You don't want to admit to others that you were wrong. And cognitively, in our brain, sometimes it's difficult to own up to our mistakes, but we have to always remember that when we acknowledge our mistakes, what we're doing cognitively is we're creating awareness. Isn't that awesome? We're creating the space for awareness, and awareness is one of the first steps of being able to overcome from our mistakes, overcome from our failures. And what's so awesome is as we bring awareness, you know what comes with acknowledging our mistakes? Freedom. Woo! I love that word. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom to be honest. Freedom to operate with integrity. We free ourselves and we also free others. And then we open up the space and the path to be able to move forward. I remember as a supervisor, I would always tell the people who I was supervising, listen, don't ever lie to me. Like, just tell me the truth. Even if you think that I might be upset, just tell me the truth. Because if you tell me the truth, I can work with the truth. Oh, we can get restored and enhanced. And there's healing that comes from the truth. So it's important to acknowledge our mistakes. All right, that's step number 1. So here's your homework. For homework today, I want you to go ahead and just take some time to just sit with yourself. Just sit with yourself and go ahead and look at your life. And I want you to admit and acknowledge if there's any area of your life where you have been holding back, where you have not admitted your mistakes. Admitted your mistakes to yourself, admitted your mistakes to God, admitted your mistakes to others. I want you to go ahead and sit and make a list. You're not making this list in judgment. There's no judgment here. We're taking the time to be honest. We want to be free. We want to operate with integrity and freedom. Also, if there's someone that you need to talk to, if there's somebody who you have not been honest with and you know you're holding them back because of your lack of honesty, okay, the time is now. The time is now to go ahead and make that phone call. Pick up that phone or text or send the email, but it's time now to acknowledge your mistake. I want to invite you to join us for step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're on a journey right now through the journal, A Greater Force Than Failure, Intentional Time with God. I want you to join us for the next step, right? Step 2, which is coming. But for today, your homework is to sit down, take some time, and to acknowledge where are the places and spaces, what are the incidences that have taken place in your life where you're not acknowledging your mistake to yourself or to others. It's really important that we take the time to own up. On page 50 of the journal, it says, "This is the freedom I believe learning from my mistake will give me." This is the freedom I believe learning from my mistake will give me. So make your list. After you have made your list, I want you to go ahead and write a sentence or two about what do you believe you're going to receive when it comes to the freedom that you can operate to be you by acknowledging your mistake, by acknowledging your mistake to yourself, by acknowledging your mistake to God, by acknowledging your mistake to whomever you need to acknowledge it to. Remember, with God, all things are possible. God's got your back. You're never alone. So don't be afraid, but instead be courageous right now. And with humility, acknowledge your mistakes. Adrienne Benton here, Forward Movement Ministries, as we're going through the book, A Greater Force Than Failure, Intentional Time with God. I invite you, as always, to walk with the King and be a blessing.